Hey guys, it's Allison from Farrow Roots Farm. Welcome back to the channel. So we, and by that I mean me and my daughter, are about to go pick up some herbs because you might see this a few days later, but it's Friday and it's the end of our week, as you guys know. And yeah, we're a little burned out. You know, we've been just going and going and going. Me and my daughter and my husband. It was actually the first week of my husband having this big promotion, so he has all these extra things that are kind of on his mind and whatnot, and for me it's, you know, just taking, you know, being a mom in today's world. That's pretty much enough. So we are going to go pick some herbs from our garden, and you might have these too, and if you don't, I highly recommend them. So we're going to go pick a few herbs that are known in the herbal world as being ones that are calming, nourishing, gentle, all the things that can work on anxiety and frayed nerves, which I think all of us can relate to at some point or other in our lives, right? So here we go. I'm going to show you guys. It is still pretty cold here. It's not that cold. It's only in the 40s Fahrenheit, but you know, a lot of the U.S. Is warming up, and we're supposed to in a few days. Cross fingers and toes. Oh, I hope so. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys a few of the herbs that, you know, we can just go out and pick and make a fresh tea with, and I will show you guys how we do that as well. Hopefully I probably won't stay too long on each herb because it is cold. And it's more windy than cold. Like, we don't have a problem getting out in the cold. We brought her out into the snow all winter, but it's more the wind, and we've been out doing a lot of garden tours. So this won't be super long. It's more the focus on the tea and just showing you guys how easy it is and sort of breaking that, you know, especially if you haven't picked fresh herbs before and use them in a dish or use them in a tea, especially a tea, just to show you really how easy it is. And, you know, when you see that tea bag in a box in your grocery store, kind of breaking that wall of what you see as like a product versus, hey, like, you can grow this, like, you have that power, you have that capability. Anyone can do this. You don't have to have a degree or anything. You can, and the great thing is too, a lot of these herbs, a couple that I'll show you, but also just so many herbs in general that are used culinarily, that you see in restaurants, that you see in, you know, popular dishes, wherever you are. A lot of these have medicinal qualities. If not, I would say all of them, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's my girl. Okay, so here we go. Hopefully it's not too windy, because I say that I just don't want it to be too loud for you guys. But yeah, so, and I'm sure if you are very used to using herbs and very used to gardening and herbalism, then you will know all these. There's nothing unique here. These are all ones that are perennials for us as well, for all you gardeners out there. So these are perennials. We're in about 4B, 5A. We are very close to Lake Superior, so we get some really cold winds and very long winters. And these are herbs that have come back, that have survived here, that are used to these conditions. So if you are in a very cold climate like we are, I wouldn't say we're very cold, I would say we're pretty cold. And I'm from Tennessee, as you might have guessed with the y'all, but so I, you know, getting used to it. But I say all that just to say, like, if you're in a cold climate as well and you don't have these herbs, there might be ones that you would consider putting in your herb garden, or, you know, your apothecary garden, or your food, your kitchen garden, what have you. Heck, even in your flower garden, you know, so many of these are beautiful. But anyway, okay, I'm gonna shush, get you guys outside. Like I said, I'll be pretty quick because it is pretty windy today, and so I don't want you guys to have to listen to a lot of the noise from that. Okay, here we go. Hey guys, the one quick tip too, I absolutely love these reusable silicone pouches. We use these a bunch for just everything, mostly for my daughter. Like, I'll make huge batches of mini muffins from different types of ingredients, always dairy-free and gluten-free for us right now. And these are just fantastic. So I am bringing one out with me to collect the herbs in, because as you can see, I don't have, this is already getting pretty heavy just from her size, and the pack itself is pretty heavy. But I also wanted to show you too, if you are in a pinch and you are wearing the Osprey Poco, I know I talked about this in a couple videos, but again, I'm a super geek for it. They have these pockets right here, and they're on both sides. And it is amazing. I always put my phone in there. You can put your keys, you can put some herbs, some roots, and they're just little stretchy pockets that go right there on the waistband. It's just, again, one of those features where I'm like, this is a great foraging pack. Mind you, getting up and off of the ground with your baby in your back and squatting and getting down and getting up, whoo, it's rough. Yeah. Tell me how I know. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, that wasn't the point. The point was tip, pockets. Here we go. So as you can see, it's pretty gusty today, but we are going to pick off these lavender blooms here and put some in our little pouch that we have right there. And I do have some sage plants here, but I actually have an older sage plant in the yard right there that we are going to pick from as well. But I'm going to go ahead. If you are not familiar, this is the type of lavender we got. Now I try to grow as much as I can from seed, but because this is our first year garden, especially if you are new to this channel, and if you are new here and you haven't seen any of my other videos, this is our first year gardening in this location. We've gardened for about 7 years, but I'm gonna go ahead because I'm gonna go ahead and take flowers off so the plant can focus on growing its roots here and getting nice strong root system. There is another lavender bud on that lavender plant there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these off with just my fingernail, pretty quick, and try not to pull at the plant. Oh, and we dropped it. Okay, here we go. Oh, I just joked you guys about squatting. Oh my goodness. But yeah, look at those beautiful little blooms. Sorry guys, focus. There we go. Okay, so we'll just open the bag here, plop those in, and then go ahead and take this one. Here we go. That's from the French lavender. Put it there. But anyway, so I am going to also, now that I got those flowers off, but I'm also going to just take a really good hearty pinch off of there. And if you don't know, I would say lavender, if this is, you know, you're kind of delving into this world, lavender is probably one of the most popular, one of the most well-known herbs for relaxation, for calming. You see it in everything from, you know, shampoos and soaps and what have you, and teas. And so it's, oh yeah, here's some other baby ones, but I'm not going to clip from those. We are only making tea for one big mason jar, so I don't need a lot, right? We're going to do a few herbs, so we don't need that much, especially when we're using fresh, because when you use dried and teas, tinctures, and what have you, you are going to be using a little bit more. But when you use fresh, you know, those volatile oils, basically what makes the plant have those aromas coming off it that you can smell when you touch the plant, when you clip the plant. Those volatile oils are highest right now. When they're dried, those, you know, those go away. So here we go. We don't need that much, right? We're going to pick a few more plants. We do have chamomile here. It is not flowering yet, so we are going to let that go. Incidentally, chamomile is also known as being a very, very calming plant, but I'm very curious if this happens to someone else. I have never been able to drink chamomile and be calm. It is, I've probably tried it over 100 times in my lifetime, and it has always kept me up. I'd love to see if anyone else has had that reaction. I know that certain people have allergies to plants and what have you that that other people don't, that can be rare, but that is always the reaction I've had. Like I said, I've tried it, you know, I'm gonna be 36 this year. I've tried it all my life. Oh, I'm going honey. But anyway, I would pick chamomile blossoms maybe for my my husband and my daughter, because they're very gentle, but never worked for me. Okay guys, so this is another plant. Oh, excuse me. Look at this. I got some great new happy growth on this sage plant. We actually got this from a nursery. I know, honey. We actually got this from a nursery, selling it as a second-year perennial, and there's so much new growth. It was very happy with this full sun spot. So I am just going to pinch a little off. We don't need too much of the sage because, like I said, very aromatic as well. I should also include this, you know, one, I am not an herbalist. I've just used herbs for, you know, many years. Oh, we're getting up. But you do always want to do your research. You know, I just weaned my daughter, but you always want to do your research, especially if you are pregnant and nursing. It's always important to do that due diligence and make sure you're identifying the plant correctly. Okay, this is not an identification video. Please use a foraging guide. Good job, honey. That's local to your area. Okay, That warning being said, this is catnip. It is in the mint family. So I'll just go ahead and throw some identifications for you real quick. Because it's in the mint family, it does have a square stem, which you can probably see there, and is super, super soft. And if you are familiar with catnip, you know it has a very distinct smell. So you're gonna have that smell, the square stem, and very, very soft leaves, and this beautiful growth habit here. And the leaves coming off like this. But catnip, get a good bit here. My 2 cats are gonna go crazy. And I should show you too, I am pinching right at the head there. If you can see where I took it off in the middle, you see the blooms coming up right there. Those are going to be new. Those are going to come up and make this plant even bushier. So that's why you see me kind of getting the head right there in between the shoulders and just pinching it off, because that will help the plant grow. But again, we don't need that much because we're just making one. We are not foraging for the whole herb here. We are just making one little thing of tea. Side note, I'm not going to be harvesting this plant, but this is mullein. And it has really taken off, I think, on social media. People have really been talking about it. It is so great for the lungs. And also the flowers are known, very, very popular to be put in oil, like an olive oil, for 6 to 8 weeks. Good job, honey. And then used for earaches. I know, sweetie. But yeah, we're not picking mullein right now. Side note, mullein does need to be double strained because it's very soft and there's fine hairs on there that can actually irritate your throat if you don't double strain it. So that little known fact. Okay. All right, guys, we got 3 herbs here for our pot of tea. We're going to do one more. So this is also one of the perennial herbs here. This is lemon balm. This is probably one of my favorite herbs of all time. I know, sweetie. And as you can see, there is not much here, but lemon balm is very, very weedy, pretty much everywhere. And I'm not worried about this growing. Lemon balm is, oh my gosh, its taste and smells so lemony. Good job, sweetie. And it's right here next to some dandelion. We got so much dandelion here. I'll definitely do a foraging video because we have dandelion, we have ground ivy, which is so good for you. We have so much. But anyway, back to the lemon balm. I am not worried about this. This is going to grow big and bushy and wonderful. Hopefully reseed. I can never personally have enough lemon balm. Yeah, I have used it endlessly for years and years and years. It's one of my favorites. We also have, like I said, ground ivy and yarrow. So many other great garden herbs here. Wood sorrel, which is edible. But that being said, this is not a foraging video. Like I said, this is just, hey, let's make a mason jar of tea. And all these herbs are focused on calming. Now, the only other thing I would love to put in here is actually some thyme. Thyme isn't known as a calming herb, but it's really known as a full body nourishing herb. Actually, the light, much better here. And we just don't have a huge thyme plant. I have a really baby one, and there's some French thyme, but I've never used like French thyme when I've made that sort of tea. But I just love the taste of thyme. You know, it's so savory and so aromatic and so pungent. And it's just wonderful. But it's really known as one of those herbs that is just like full throttle nourishment. Again, like I said previously, though, you always want to double check yourself, your allergies. And I know we're going to go in soon. You want to double check your allergies, double check your foraging guide. Especially the best thing too is if you can go out with someone to forage and who has like years of experience, that's always the best. Hands-on experience is the best. Like hands down. Hands-on experience is the best, hands down. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's make some tea. I forgot, guys. I'm gonna pinch off because peppermint is delicious. Or this might actually be a spearmint. I can't remember. Hey, tell me in the comments because, like I said, it's been so long since I have gardened and I don't remember the tag. Let me give it a whiff. Oh, I don't know. Maybe spearmint. But I'm gonna go ahead and put some mint in our mason jar as well. Whoop. Okay, not only because it just smells and tastes great, but peppermint is also really great for digestion. And if you know, gut health is overall health, right? Okay, and one thing I'll add too, also sorry about the noise, the dishwasher is right here. So if you hear some noise in the background, I apologize. I'm gonna try and do this quick so you guys don't have to listen to it. But another thing as well, like when it comes to identification, I didn't have to question these herbs. One, because I planted all of them but the catnip. But two, I do have a lot of familiarity. So don't get overwhelmed at the very beginning. I mean, well, I shouldn't say don't. It can seem overwhelming, and there's no problem, you know, there's no worries getting overwhelmed. But like I said, going out with someone who is really familiar as well, who can just pinpoint exactly like what you're looking for if you want to make something like this, and this is your first time or you're really getting used to it, and you haven't had someone to guide you, that's great. Like, it's okay. We have all been a beginner somewhere, somehow, at some time. You know, no one just pops out of the womb knowing all this stuff. And yes, there are a lot of people who grow up with this knowledge. I certainly am hoping that my daughter, you know, gravitates towards this, that she appreciates it. I certainly don't want to force it on her, but it's something that I also, like so many people, especially now, I see so much of this now, people really starting to come back to these just wonderful, like these skills that just kind of get you down and dirty and outside. And both me and my husband, like, we're 80s babies, you know, like we are used to being outside. We grew up outside. We didn't really grow up with tech until like later, you know, and so for us it is really, it's important. Sorry, she's chasing around our dog right now. But anyway, I digress. Side rant, totally for another video. But yes, so here are herbs. Yay, clean! You know, and that's the thing too, you might come in like when you're foraging or picking, you know, they might be dirty and you can give them a little rinse. It just misted earlier this morning, so I'm not worried about this. I also know like none of my neighbors, thank goodness, spray as far as I know, but like I've talked to all of them and like it's amazing. All of our neighbors are very nature centric like we are, and so, you know, they didn't even mind like our huge brush pile, and like we want to grow like a million different fruit trees on our less than an acre and all these berry bushes, and they're totally fine with it, which is just a blessing in and of itself. What are you doing, silly goose? You running around? Did you eat your pouch? She has pouch all over her face, so I'm assuming that it was tasty. Yeah. So what we're going to do now, and I'll show you in a second, is I'm going to pour these, get these, not because I know they're clean, into a clean mason jar, boil some water, and then I'm going to take, and this is my trick that I learned from another herbalist friend of mine, who I believe she and her fiance, husband, can't remember, her partner, that they are on YouTube as well. I might tag them because I saw this, I think like years ago, either in person or it was like on Instagram. I knew her at some point in person, in real life, but she used a yerba mate straw. I also saw people use this at a apothecary I used to work at in Middle Tennessee, which was sadly demolished by one of our tornadoes that we had in East Nashville in 2020, I believe. It was like right when everything was shutting down too. It was horrible. Anyway. Side note, yeah, I'm on a side note rant. I think because my daughter is actually letting me talk for more than 30 seconds. So anyway, okay, I'm going to put these in a mason jar, boil some water, and then I'm going to pour them over there and use a yerba mate straw, which I will show you in a second, to drink it. And you can use it with dried herbs as well, and you don't get any of the leaves or anything, and it's so much easier than having to like use a French press, get a specific teapot or what have you. Don't get me wrong. I have so many tea strainers. I have a few different teapots. Like, we use a lot of different contraptions for our tea, but this is the quickest. You can hear my daughter's little pitter patter. This is the quickest method. And also the mason jar can, you know, if it doesn't have any flaws, it can withhold the heat from boiling water to make tea. So I can let that steep. Again, these volatile oils are going to be highest right now, fresh picked, you know, alive, very close, you know, just alive. And so they're going to be, it's just going to smell great. You're not going to have to really steep these as long to really get those effects. But what I'll probably do, I don't know, 10 minutes and then see 5 to 10 minutes. And then you can adjust yourself. You can see. So this is, yeah, to go over through the herbs again, it was 2 different types of lavender, peppermint or spearmint. Can't remember. It looked like peppermint, I'm pretty sure. but heck, it might be spearmint. Again, please let me know if you can identify it. I'll probably just look it up right after I finish this video. And then the catnip, lavender, and lemon balm, of course. I can't wait until those plants get super bushy because they're the best. Oh my gosh. Lemon balm tincture has gotten me through so much. You can make lemon balm syrup, lemon balm oxymel, lemon balm vinegar. Can you tell it's just an herb that's always come up in my life and has always helped me. It's so gut calming. It's also like catnip. It's really, really gentle. And so it's totally cool for young children. Now, again, but while I say that, please do your research. Talk to a skilled herbalist. Thank you, sweetie. And look at the dosage that's appropriate. If you are thinking about giving these things to a child, a lot of it is by weight, and there's certain things that you can. Thank you. Now she wants me to play. Okay, let me make this tea and I'll be right back. Now, I actually learned this trick when I worked at the apothecary slash tea shop. I put a lid on here, one, to keep it nice and hot, but two, is it's still cold outside. And two, those volatile oils can actually evaporate. And so what we would do when we were serving customers is we would put a small dish. Oh, you okay, honey? We would put a small dish on top of the teapot as the tea was infusing, right? And you trap those volatile oils that are getting released into the vapor. And then when you are ready to drink it, you take the lid off, which I just put this on, so I'm gonna wait. You take the lid off and you kind of tap it. So you get those drops that are on the lid from like the condensation back into the tea. And those volatile oils hold a lot of the medicinal properties. That's the whole point of that, right? So I always really loved that. And ever since, for years and years now, I've always done this. I've always put something on top, even if like some of it still escapes. Usually I use a mason jar lid, as you can see here, and it doesn't fit all of our teacups. And sometimes I don't have a dish clean that will sit nicely. But if you can even trap like some of them, you can still, like when you're ready to drink it, and when it's done steeping, you can tap it. And the cool thing, another great trick on top of this, we're like on the subject of making herbal tea, is especially with these, you can always do a double strain. We had a lot of tea bags where, like the dried tea itself, the tea bags were so big because we used so many different types of herbs, and you could strain that, or you could steep the tea 2 or 3 times. And yes, it would go down, like the concentration would go down, the flavor would go, down in potency with each steep. And you just elongate that time where it's steeping, but there's still a lot of those benefits. So instead of, only steeping it like once and then throwing it out, I will do another pour over of this, So yeah, there's just a couple tips on top of that. I feel like this video is probably getting way too long, but yeah, I will keep this steeping. And as you can see, it's just so beautiful. When the hot water gets that, oh, it's really hot. Be careful. Yeah, don't burn yourself. I feel like all my fingerprints are almost gone from all my years in the restaurant industry. What are you doing, Bug? What are you doing, silly goose? She's trying to climb into the trash can, probably. And with that hot water, it just gets so bright. It just gets so bright green. I think that's why I like lime green, not like fluorescent, but like this lime green is like my favorite color. Okay, Bug. Oh, are you trying to get Nala? She's trying to get the dog who's outside. So essentially my daughter is trying to climb through the window, which cannot happen. I know, honey, we'll go outside. Okay, y'all. that's all I got for today. As you can see, this water is slowly changing. You can see it's slowly changing green. Oh yeah, someone's getting tired. Okay, time for nap. All right, y'all. Thank you for listening again. This is Allison with Feral Roots Farm. Oh, I got a daughter needing me, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day or evening, wherever you are, or however you are. Bye.